expensive energy is having no energy.
Okay.
Just like what's happening in Mindanao. When you have brownouts, it's very bad for the economy. So I think we have a lot of clamor from Mindanao that we need solar because we need to deploy solar right away. Because if you wait for hydro, for example, even for coal, you need several years. For solar, you can deploy this within 6 to 1 year. 6 months to 1 year.
6 months to 1 year.
So if you need the power, solar is the way to go.
But I guess all of the debate now is focusing on the economics, no? Especially of solar power, the feed-in tariff, as being opposed by some of the critics of solar power, may just be too high and make the technology too expensive as well for other producers of energy, conventional energy.
Right. Well, by law, Tony, the feed-in tariff rate is determined by the National Renewable Energy Board, of which Pete is the chairman.
Exactly,
the DOE has provided inputs to the National Renewable Energy Board. So I'll let Pete answer that. But again...
I think he was already defending it.
No, but as a matter of principle, again, the Department of Energy, whenever we approach energy issues, we always think of the balance. No? We fully recognize the need to ensure that electricity prices do not go up drastically, without any rhyme or reason. No? But at the same time, there is a law, the Renewable Energy Act of 2008, that says let's enhance and develop our renewable energy resources. So we have that balance in mind, and the public can be assured that we will not implement it recklessly.
And you're saying, you did mention the words grid parity, no? And because as the program runs for 20 years, that you expect that by X number of years, these renewable forms of energy, or maybe even solar in particular, will be as what? As cost-effective as conventional energy, or maybe cheaper?
Maybe cheaper in the long term. No? Especially now. No? I think everybody knows I announce the oil price hikes every Monday, no?
Yes.
Which is not a fun thing to do. But we are seeing a trend in oil prices. We are seeing a trend in coal as well. No? And we believe that given the law that we have, no, we have to start now. And of course, we need to create that balance. No? We start slowly and put them in.
Now, is there a political issue here, Pete? Because people, of course, will think that there are certain sectors who may be opposed to some forms of renewable energy because they're being lobbied by the producers of conventional energy. And then there may be some effort for them to push for these other sources of renewable energy apart from solar, because there may be more to be gained from them politically. This is not just a tech show. We also discuss the undercurrents behind the tech issues.
Well, actually, that was also asked during Congress, whether
the hearings,
whether there's a coal representative in the board. But I think all of our board members are pro-renewable energy. Otherwise, they won't be there. So on my part, I have not been approached by any coal lobby, for example, or any other convention.
But there is a lobby, no? In a way,
yes. But let's go back to solar. We gave the lowest installation target to solar at 100 megawatts.
Okay.
And even that is subject to review, because unlike other countries, we have a review of it within the 3-year period. So we can reduce the feed-in tariff, for example, if there are drastic reductions in the cost of technology. We can, for example, if the target of solar is reached, say, within 1 year or 2 years, then we can reduce the tariff again before we grant another installation target. But in some cases, if the installation targets are not reached within 3 years, then we can also increase it, because that means that the rates are not attractive. So because of that review of feed-in tariff, that means that we will not have runaway installation of solar, like what happened in Spain, where they have 2,500 megawatt installed in less than 3 years. And in Thailand, for example, where they have applications for 2,000 megawatt, whereas their target is only about 55 megawatts. So that won't happen to us.
Excess capacity, no? Similar to maybe the problem that has also been pointed out with the IPPs that came about producing excess power, but still the law, the EPIRA, actually obliges consumers to still pay for the unused energy. So may safeguards naman
yes,
against
we
that.
have a deputy servant because we learned from the experience of other countries that we have to temper the installation of the more expensive technologies. And we have to give priority for the biomass, for example, and hydro, because they have lower costs. As a matter of fact, the hydro said that they have only ready projects for 170 megawatts, but we gave them 250 megawatts. And the approved contracts for biomass is around 248, so we gave them 250, so the water. But that could still be adjusted. I said if they reach the target, then we could give them more targets, but at a lower rate.
Now, as we did say at the beginning, some people would think that it was just a pipe dream, to actually have clean and cheaper energy in the Philippine grid, maybe 10, 20 years from now. So, in the short term, when do we actually see electricity prices dropping because of renewable energy?
Well, that's something that's not easy to predict. No? What we have seen, however, in the past few years is that the price of conventional fuels has been going up. And of course, nobody wants really high electricity prices. Neither does the Department of Energy. So we're looking for ways and means to ensure that whenever we implement a law, there's always that balance that we look at. We always look at the socio-economic impact as well. So the public can be assured that we will not implement recklessly, as I said. We will always be keeping in mind all the factors needed when we implement the law.
Of course, President Aquino would probably want to make that one of the pegs of his State of the Nation address when Congress opens in July. But what can he report on the adoption of renewable energy and just how much it has benefited consumers?
Well, Tony, in a span of about 6 to 8 months, all the mechanisms that should have been put in place in 2008, we have already fast-tracked all of them. In fact, a testament to that is the launching of the National Renewable Energy Program. Everybody has been waiting for the feed-in tariff rates. And now NREB has already filed that with the ERC. Everyone's been waiting for the renewable portfolio standards, all other mechanisms. We will complete them all this year. But what it shows to everybody is that this administration is very serious in implementing the law. So we're just following the mandate.
All right. And you gentlemen have been sitting there with these pamphlets or booklets on your lap. What is it exactly that you have there, you said?
Well, this one is the National Renewable Energy Program. This is what we launched last week. Again, it sets out the aspirational targets of the Aquino administration. And what we hope to achieve here is that we start now, and not too late. We slowly implement the law. And again, keeping in mind that the Department of Energy is very conscious of the price, but at the same time, also the need to develop and enhance our own resources.
You see, that's probably the conundrum there, because you say we should start now. Otherwise, if we don't start now, it remains expensive to rely on some forms of renewable energy. But if you start now and it's expensive, then people will say, then why should we use that kind of renewable energy? I don't want that. So kind of a dilemma here, whether you start out now and see its rates drop as the years progress, or you just adopt it later, and this is the argument, when it's already cheaper to adopt. Does that somehow make sense to you?
Well, the law took 6 Congresses to pass, and so we should respect the wisdom and the spirit behind the law, that we have to promote and accelerate the development of renewable energy. If we wait for parity, then therefore we won't have any deployment of wind or solar within the near future. So that is not promoting and accelerating their development. And you mentioned parity. The weighted average of the renewable energy resources is 7.87 pesos per kilowatt hour. That compares already to 6.16 for coal.
All right.
And the average of 5 pesos average for all. So that means that it's not too far. Compared to coal, it's almost 1 peso, something more. Compared to the average generation cost, it's only about 287.
So what you're saying is konti na lang ang hihahatak para magka-parity.
Yeah, especially coal has been increasing by leaps and bounds, especially after the flooding of the Australian coal mines and also the increased demand of China and even Japan. And For example, this year, coal, Class A and B coal already increased by 100%.
Wow.
And the C to F increased by 33%. And we don't see any insight in this, in these increases. So we believe that parity will be reached sooner than later.
Now, both of you gentlemen, I suppose, were there at the Senate hearings on
Yes.
renewable energy, right?
Yes, we were there.
And I suppose you also heard what Senator Serge Osmeña was saying about the cost efficiency, particularly not very fond of solar.
We heard that
Yeah.
loud and clear.
So what does our energy regulators and planners have to say when, in fact, our lawmakers seem unconvinced that you need to start now, especially for solar, so that you can reduce the price in the future?
Well, the first thing we mentioned was we were following the law that they implemented.